Hey, so welcome to Watch with Poppy. Today we're going to be talking about the latest episode of The Originals. You guys, first of all, so good to see you again. I'm so excited, not only to see you, but I'm super excited that it's time for TV to come back because it's been a long winter break. So yeah, let's talk about last night's episode of The Originals, you guys. So lots of crazy things going on in this episode. I mean, probably the biggest reveal happened at the very end of the episode when we realize that Rebekah is trapped in the crazy, witch mental hospital with her sister Freya. We finally see Freya, right? This person who we all thought was dead for so long. So of course we get that, yeah, she's not dead and she's trapped in this house with Rebekah. Super excited about that because, yeah, I don't know. I just feel like the fact that we've seen her means that we're closer to seeing Dahlia, who I am so excited about seeing. There were a lot of other interesting moments in this episode. Let's talk about Finn for a second, right? Because Finn is going off the deep end, you guys, right? So by the end of the episode, he finds out that Klaus has turned his mom into a vampire. But not only that, he finds out that she fed, and there was this whole moment where he called her a hypocrite, and I thought that was so interesting because it's so true. And you get that he has kind of been her biggest believer, and so for him to kind of see her fail was a huge thing. We pretty much get that Finn's pretty fanatical about killing anyone that's slightly supernatural in any way. And now that he's kind of channeling both of his parents' powers, I'm not really sure how they're gonna stop him. It was interesting too, right? Because Finn does the spell where he traps this group of vampires and werewolves together. I like to kind of think of it as kind of an evil version of a supernatural slumber party where everybody kind of wants to kill each other. That's kind of like a slumber party, right? I thought that was kind of a cool little twist, right? And then also at one point, he does this spell that makes all of the vampires really hungry because of course everybody's getting along at first. But then, the vampires decide they want to eat and that's going to be a problem. Finn is definitely going to be an issue for them, right? And I mean, it's not going to end well is what I'm sensing. Let's talk about Hayley and Jackson. You guys, I love Jackson. I am sorry. I just love him, you guys, right? And you get that he totally is in love with Hayley. Now we get, of course, that they've agreed to get married so that their packs can have the power, blah, blah, blah. But we also know that Hayley is in love with Elijah, and she and Elijah have obviously just recently kind of consummated that love. So she decides that she needs to be honest with Jackson, you guys, which just makes me love him even more because, you get that he's upset because he loves her, even though he knows that she's kind of doing it, not out of an obligation, but more so for her pack. He gets really upset when she decides to tell him the truth. And I thought that was a bit much, right? Because it's kind of it's not like you guys were in a relationship for real. I mean, you're gonna have a fake marriage here. But then later he comes back and he apologizes. But he has a ring and he pretty much tells her I've always loved you. I loved you before I even knew you. How can you not love this man? But obviously the issue is that she is in love with Elijah, and Elijah, while he's, dealing with all his own issues, is also in love with her. So, yeah, I mean, obviously the whole wedding and the marriage thing is gonna continue because she's gonna do that for her pack. I'll be interested to kind of see where that goes though, if she actually fully will go through with it or if something else is gonna happen before she can do that. Elijah, meanwhile, is stuck with Cammy in the house kind of babysitting Hope because Klaus knows that Elijah's kind of unstable at this moment. Poor Cammy, right? Who gets left in the house with this unstable vampire to psychoanalyze him, which is just not a good idea. Every time she would say to him Elijah, are you okay? I just kept thinking will you leave the angry vampire alone? This is not the Elijah that we have come to know and love. No, this is the Elijah who's gonna accidentally kill you. So that was a bit scary. Let's talk about Rebekah, right? Because she of course wakes up in the body of another person, which of course solves their issue, right? Because we all know that the actress who plays Rebekah is not on the show anymore. So she did come obviously for a couple of episodes to set up this whole storyline that we've got going where she's trapped in another body. How convenient. And of course she's trapped in this kind of mental hospital for wayward witches. It was an interesting concept, right? And I get that we're just scratching the surface of that. Why is Freya there? Why is she asleep? Who put Freya there? Why did they put Freya there? Where is Dahlia? So many questions. Klaus does figure out that Kol has done something wrong, right? He figures out that Rebekah is not in the body that she's supposed to be in. And so he knows that Kol Kol has done something underhanded. Now, Davina and Kol managed to do this little spell, right, that lets all the werewolves kind of like escape the building, so that way the vampires don't kill them all. But then Klaus ends up leaving Kol in the building with all of these vampires because he knows that Kol has double-crossed Rebekah. And so Kol is left trapped in the compound with all of these hungry vampires while Klaus tries to figure out where Rebekah is. Or Rebekah, as I'm calling her. That's my hybrid of Black Rebekah. See how I did that? See what it did? Rebekah's trapped, and so she's gonna need some help to get out, but I have a deep, dark suspicion that Freya is gonna be the one that's going to assist her. Okay, yeah, you guys, that's it. I can't think of anything else. It was an interesting episode. Definitely kind of like a starter for the second half of the season. I would love to hear what you guys thought about this episode. Please do not forget to tell me about that down in the comment section below, and I will talk to you guys again soon. Bye.